was a boy,
when I was a boy,
things were simple then.
so simple.
Now I am a man,
Yeah.
everyone's my friend.
Oh.
Enjoy the show.
FIAWG, episode 18. Chris.
What the fuck are you doing, man?
Oh,
It's our show.
Yeah.
wow, I'm sorry.
I mean,
man.
it's-
My apologies, great master.
All of our shows.
Continue.
You're new here. You're not like you need to. You know, you're still in the apprenticeship. You can't
Right, so
introduce
I'm like the what are they called?
Hey, welcome to episode 18 of FIAWG. Hi, I'm Kevin,
Hi, Matt Orchard.
and
And I'm the new guy.
alright,
Yeah. Okay.
that's Chris.
Right. It's an acceptable order, so I'm just throwing you last.
But seriously, welcome.
Yeah.
To the show.
Thank you. Thanks very much. It's good to be here once
Good having
again.
you, Chris.
Chris, our good friend, and the genius around here, who has a lot of tech insights and some insights from out of this.
I can make lots of
Sort of
coffee, apparently.
You can. So what's
been
going
happening?
on?
Last week we had the beta episode. It was going to be weekly contrarian. We decided we're just going to keep it FIAWG, have the weekly contrarian as a weekly segment that I will do, defending a contrarian position.
Yep.
And we're just going to have a third panelist make things more animated.
So 2 weeks of vacation for us to bring it even
Well,
better
1
show.
week of vacation and then we...
Well, I kind of tuned out last week, to be honest.
So, hey, speaking of which, so that was our plan to try and get our viewership up, make it a little more dynamic. What were the viewers like last week, Kevin? Did we have a jump?
I think we had about 5.
About 5? Same as New Zealand.
Yeah.
So no one's fucking watching.
So 3 of us watched it, and I watched it on a different computer.
So, yeah.
I think there's like a 1 + 1 - 1. So.
Yeah, something like that.
Who's good for the show? Who would make a good viewer, do you think? Who does this appeal to?
Housewives?
Yep.
Yeah, definitely Housewives.
Just, sitting around, run out of things to bake.
Yep.
Kids are already gone to school. You're like, you know what? I need a little bit of internet television.
Yeah,
Tune
like,
into
you know,
FIAWG.
they used to market those fridges that had the TVs on them. I think it would look perfect just chilling.
I think they still do those fridges, don't they?
Really?
I'm not sure. I think, yeah, Samsung will release like a double French door with everything. You just type in what you want and it delivers it to you. I'm not
Nice.
sure if that's actually how it works. It would
Star
be
Trek
awesome
style,
if it
like
did.
a...
Yeah, pretty much. What are they called, those things? Yeah, well, 3D printers are essentially those, aren't they? What were they called? You know, those things in Star Trek? Well, I don't know. Maybe you guys aren't geeky.
People who have nothing to do, basically.
TO,
Yeah. That's
Replicator.
Replicator, exactly. The 3D printer is pretty much a replicator.
This is true.
Here's one for you. Do you reckon you could 3D print a 3D printer from a 3D printer?
I'm going to say yes.
Each time it makes a bigger one until it's just like the biggest thing ever.
Indeed. That's
What
interesting.
came first, the 3D printer or the 3D printer that printed it?
This is like the theory of like a robot making a robot.
Yes.
And they just keep making them.
The robots already make robots, so
Right.
we're done.
That is
We're
true.
done.
But in
Speaking
the first
of
place,
robots.
a human would have made the first robot and they just
It's
get out of
true.
control.
That's true. Skynet.
Who else is good to watch this show? What about Ethiopian children?
Yep.
What else are they doing?
Right.
Nothing.
Plenty of
Yeah,
time.
that's true. Except they don't get really good internet service out there, I think.
So
It's
just
one of the biggest
Yeah.
issues.
just torrent it then,
Torrents, yeah.
and
Torrents are good.
they download it over the course of a couple of days.
Sure.
Maybe we can work out some kind of scribe system and send them
But yeah,
out.
Doll Dodgers, that's definitely one waiting in the Centrelink line,
Totally.
totally. The old YouTube.
Mhm.
It's, they're something they definitely want. I'd watch it if I was.
It'll work out because we pay them,
Yeah,
so
check.
they get paid to scribe it, and then we send it out, and they can read
Yeah,
the
exactly.
transcripts.
Mhm.
Everyone wins.
Indeed.
Well, that's the intro of the show. One thing I guess we always try and do before getting into the nitty gritty of the show is obviously as we pledged we started FIAWG. We're staying with the story until it comes to its natural conclusion.
Ongoing coverage of the missing flight MH370.
So we're going to induct Chris into the jingle. So
Let's do it.
what you do, Chris, I'll demonstrate and then we'll do it together. So what you do is you go, ongoing coverage, ongoing coverage, ongoing coverage, ongoing coverage.
It's pretty technical.
Alright, let me try this. Ongoing coverage! Fucked it. Alright, let me try again.
There needs to be more, yeah.
First show, it's alright.
Ongoing coverage, ongoing coverage, ongoing coverage, ongoing coverage, ongoing coverage. So, MH370, Malaysia flight, MH370, mysteriously disappeared back in February-ish.
Something like that. Who knows?
And yeah, as of this week, we can inform you that they still have not, they haven't found it really. Like, there's no.
Are they still looking?
Sucks. I was looking forward to that.
Yeah, they're going underwater.
No.
They've been going underwater. Yeah, it's going to be over a few.
Can I put something out there? I think this is all a ploy, a marketing plot, and then just before the Aquaman movie comes out,
He
They'll
comes
be
and
like,
saves
he's
the day.
down, yeah, he
launches
finds it, and then they start selling tickets.
Exactly.
And all the family members will be like, "Oh snap! You had us going there for a second,
then-
Warner
and then
Brothers."
boom.
Johnny, but what a movie.
Oh,
and then
hey.
Aquaman's finally popular after all these years of everyone just like he being the underdog, the underwater dog.
Actually, I told you.
Underwater dog. I like it.
Go on, snap. I told you. I think a few weeks ago before Chris was with it. Sorry, I forgot your name there for a minute.
Yeah,
Before
I
Chris
really
was
am
with
the
the
you
show.
guy.
I told you that it was going to be an Aquaman movie. Now I have to run a field correction. He's actually going to be an additional superhero in the Batman vs Superman movie.
The movie that no one wants to watch, right.
Yeah.
So they're not going to find the MH370. That's what you're saying.
Well, they could do it. They could still do some
Maybe
promotion.
Batman will find it.
Because has Aquaman been in a movie ever? Like, I mean, cartoon movies?
Yeah, he's
but
been in the animated ones, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if there's been ones purely
a live
based on
action
him.
one, though. I'm sure there's been
Nah,
animated ones, yeah.
I don't believe he's in a live action.
So yeah, that's exciting. I actually, I'm looking forward to the Batman. No, I think it will be a bad movie because Superman, not Returns. That was the one before. Superman
Returns is ridiculous.
Superman Rises.
I haven't actually
or
seen that one. Christopher
Superman-
Nolan did that, or didn't he? I think.
Oh, the Man of Steel. They did the Dark Knight thing. The Man of Steel. Was
Man of
supposed
Steel,
to be a
yeah,
piece of shit.
right. Yeah, that was Christopher Nolan, I'm pretty sure.
No, because no one
No?
produced it, and then some other dude. Quite a good director, I think, made it, but it still wasn't that good apparently.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it. I'm not a big fan of Superman.
I've heard it's pretty mediocre. Well, Superman's just boring because like he can do everything. So
Exactly.
you're just kind of like, well, you know.
I'll tell you what would
He
be a
still
great
needs to get
movie.
kryptonite. Sorry.
Yeah. No. What would be a great movie is Superman. There's actually a comic spin-off as to what would have happened if Superman actually crash landed in Russia, not in America, called The Red Sun. So he's actually a communist Superman. That's a movie I'd watch. I think
Be
that's a movie a lot
interesting.
of people would watch. Yeah,
Yeah.
really good.
I was going to say, I think the Superman vs Batman movie it will suck, but it won't suck because of Ben Affleck. I don't agree with the people who are dissing that decision so much. No.
See, I don't know. I think I'm inclined to disagree, but just mostly based on like that. The last I can't even think of his name now. You know what I'm talking about? The dude, Batman,
American Psycho.
the new Batman. Yeah, exactly. Christian Bale.
Yeah.
He was just such a convincing Bruce Wayne to me and everything. I thought he did really well.
The thing is,
He
I guess
did
I'm
do
just not
well,
gonna
but
be
it
able to
wasn't like
unsee it.
it doesn't take that much. You know?
But Batman,
that's
like,
my point of Batman.
Batman
Affleck.
he's like the everyman, and he can play that. But Ben Affleck is like the poster boy. It's like a golden child.
Yeah,
You can't take him out of that and then put him back
into this role. Yeah,
But
Well, that- I
Bruce
don't know,
Wayne
it
is
could
a
be proven
poster
wrong.
child. That's the point.
Okay, but
Yeah.
he's not. His appeal is to the everyman.
Well, Kevin Smith's
Superhero
seen the
roles.
script and he thinks it's not shitty, so you know,
And he's got the draw
he's
for
quite
it.
the god. Yeah, that's true. I don't know. Time will tell. I might watch it.
And apparently they're going back to the blue suit or some shade of blue.
Oh wow, okay, interesting.
Did he have a blue? He just had a blue mask and a grey suit, didn't he? The original.
No, it was
Batman?
Adam West, yeah.
blue and the yellow and black emblem. The original one, yeah.
It was blue tights and a
Blue cape.
blue cape, black
Yeah.
cowl.
Who remembers how great's Adam West? So could you imagine? I hope Adam West makes a cameo. That would be something.
It will be good.
It's funny how progressively darker they've gotten, by which I mean like not just the Christopher Nolan movies, but obviously there was that Adam West kind of very tacky, kind of 70s,
Yeah,
70s one, and then like Tim Burton made his ones, and everyone's like, oh wow, he made it so much darker.
Yeah.
And now like with the Christopher Nolan ones, it's like no, the Tim Burton ones were tacky and wacky as well. Like
Yeah,
they were
exactly.
silly now in comparison. So
Yeah.
like next time they do Batman,
Yeah,
it's just gonna be like I want
it's
to
gonna
kill
be,
myself.
yeah,
like
very
Jesus Christ.
Mm.
You know, one I haven't seen for ages, but I remember it being arguably the best Batman period. It was the animated movie they made, like the Phantom something, and it was like the movie version of the animated series. It was really, really good.
Yeah, right. I'm trying to think. I don't know if I remember that one.
My 13-year-old self, or my 9-year-old self thought it was really awesome, but I'm pretty sure the critics agree with me, and it's still considered like really a
That's
triumph.
interesting.
So it was an animated version of the movie.
Well, like you know how there was the animated series, it would run like after school quite a lot in
Oh,
New
yes,
Zealand.
okay.
Remember that?
Okay.
So it was like it was that
So-
same universe,
Yeah, right.
and it was like a full-length movie with like Joker doing stuff, and Batman had to stop him.
You seen this new Spider-Man series, the Sensational Spider-Man?
No, I've
The,
heard
the
things
new
about it.
movie one, or is there a TV series?
The
TV series,
cartoon.
cartoon,
Yeah, no,
okay.
I've heard things about it. I just haven't been able
It's
to.
decent.
see it
Like
myself.
the presentation of it, they do some really interesting animation.
Interesting.
You know, they should bring back. They should bring back Darkwing Duck.
Oh, Darkwing was the
Absolutely.
greatest.
Yeah,
Like every afternoon, it was so good.
Yeah.
That and DuckTales, I was quite a big fan of.
Yeah,
as well.
DuckTales was sweet.
Scrooge
DuckTales
swimming in his
definitely good.
gigantic money pit. That was one of the greatest.
Imagine if you
things.
did that in real life. You'd like dive into it and just
and be a
yourself out.
paraplegic, pretty much.
On a side note, I spent a good half an hour to 40 minutes today researching the internet on why Daffy Duck and Donald Duck don't wear pants. And so there's this thing about it's Disney put pants on them and then Warner Bros don't care and they leave the pants off. And there's an official release saying that when they get out of the shower they have a towel on, not to hide their nudity, but because ducks also get wet, so they need to dry themselves off. So don't even worry about the fact that they have pants or not.
You shouldn't be worrying about the fact he doesn't have pants. You should be worrying about why is he wearing a hat and a jacket. Because ducks don't.
And why does he have this hate toward a rabbit? Whenever rabbits and ducks ever sort of had any animosity between them?
Wait, does Donald have a thing with
Daffy.
Yes.
Daffy and Bugs go at it.
Oh, sorry, yeah, Daffy and Bugs, my bad, yeah.
Yeah,
They
Daffy and Bugs
hate
don't.
each
Like,
other.
Donald's not. Yeah, he doesn't really care about it. He hates the Nazis though.
Oh, okay.
Do you think? I think that's
thought
the
that was,
original. I think the original appearance of Donald Duck was like an anti-Nazi propaganda.
A
Oh,
lot
wow.
of them were, yeah.
Wow,
I don't know if it was the original, but he definitely there's a classic like old Donald Duck one where it's like, damn the Nazis invading and trying to,
That's quite interesting considering, Walt
So
Disney
Superman-
having some anti-Semitic comments around his friends and things. But I think that was more of like a, I don't know, the way I read it, it was more like a, meant nothing by it. It was more just a,
Environment and time.
yeah, more or less, yeah.
So he didn't like Jews, but he didn't think. Like,
I don't think he was
like,
aggressively
Hitler
against
was
them
doing.
or he was anti-Semitic. He just made some comments, probably dropped them in, in joke as a joking conversation. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Not even that, but back then it wasn't as taboo. Like,
Yeah, I guess.
you could have a strange opinion. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
You look at it back from now, and
But I don't think it was the kind of
stuff.
opinion that made him like sort of cut off relationships with that.
Yeah,
with
exactly.
It was just like, you go down to the park, you throw a frisbee with your dog, you hate the Jews a bit. You go home, you have a cup of tea. It's just,
Speaking of dogs, I've got
part
another one for
routine.
you. So Goofy is a dog, right? And he has a dog which is Pluto. So it's a dog owning a dog, and that shit.
Wow, I've never thought of that. Goofy is a dog.
Mm.
I'm actually up to this moment. I've never actually thought about what Goofy is.
Because he doesn't look like a dog, really, does
No.
he? He just looks like some creature.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
Hey,
Like a mixture of some kind of
But
wolf
anyway.
and something.
We've done it.
Yeah, I was gonna talk to you, Chris, about we were talking about Louis Theroux's documentary on hunting.
Yeah.
Last week we were talking about like how hunting in Africa, helps preserve the species.
Yeah, and the big hate scheme, or the want to ban that lovely looking cheerleader for posting about it on Facebook. Yeah. Yeah, continue.
Well, okay, so you said that Louis Theroux ended up coming away pro hunting.
Yeah, well, that was more or less the thing. Well, not so much that he was pro hunting, but there was an argument there at least that there's basically like by what they're doing there, they're actually increasing more of the population of the endangered species.
Totally, and he did concede that you have to kind of concede that does work. But I don't know, the way I kind of took it from you is that he kind of got, I guess, convinced, swayed to be with, but as I kind of thought it would be, because he's quite a progressive dude, he finished still quite uncomfortable with the fact. And while watching that, because I totally concede the conservation argument, it's pretty hard to deny, but I still think if you personally really want to go out and shoot a lion in the face, you're kind of fucked up. If you really enjoy it. It's same with with elk or whatever, if you're... Because I didn't think about that, I didn't think that when I was talking to you the other week, but when I watched it, I thought about that, and I'm like, well, if you're fucked up for liking killing the lion, I guess you are kind of fucked up for liking to enjoy killing the deer and stuff as well. If you're doing it to feed yourself, that's cool, but if you're not walking up every time you kill the animal and going, okay, had to do it, if you're like, yeah, good shot, take a picture of me, it's fucked up.
Yeah, no, and I completely agree with that. But I mean, I guess that's only one part of the argument, and I guess nobody likes to see, if you're that kind of person, if that's the kind of personality you have, nobody likes to see that kind of it's essentially animal cruelty in a sense. Even if you are sort of killing it with one shot and it's not feeling any death, it's still, like you said, it's a very sort of visceral image and whatnot.
Yeah.
But Yeah, no, I entirely agree with you there. And like I said, I don't necessarily agree with hunting either as any kind of hobby or anything
It's
like
two
that.
totally different arguments.
Exactly, yeah.
It's somebody's theory about, or somebody's perception about one person doing this, or is it like a big picture thing, or it's good for the species or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's two different arguments.
And I think we have
absolutely.
to, and again, I think we all agree that, for the species, unfortunately, it seems to be the best way to sort of preserve them by keeping the industry so you can fund the conservation, But another thing, watching that documentary, sometimes, sometimes, you're so kind of disgusted by something, it just, verbally comes out. You don't even intentionally mean to kind of make the sound.
Yeah.
There was this part where, they're like, so what would you like to bag? And he's like, oh, it'd be cool to kill this, and then there's a pause, he's like, I'd really like to get a baboon. And I'm just like, oh, a baboon.
That's crossing the line.
It's too close to us.
Yeah.
That's it's not cool.
At what point are you were a hunter or a human murderer?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's actually a very good point. Something to think about.
Yeah, no, definitely.
If there's somebody that is borderline, you probably got a case. You murdered him. Well, no, he's close to a baboon.
Technically, I guess though you could look at it. If you're alone with a baboon, the baboon will probably fuck you up. Baboons are pretty aggressive animals, but
they don't
doesn't make it okay.
They can't work firearms, so you got a bit of a
but they can sort of rip your throat out with one little bit of a bite, a love bite, would we say? But yeah, no, there was there were some things in the documentary that made me really uncomfortable too. The way they were just so casually sort of speaking about, these lions, they starve them extra. You know what I mean? To say, to get them more aggressive and things like that. They were just saying it like it was nothing to them. And, while, it does conserve the species, it's still, nobody should be desensitized or, be okay with those kind of facts.
There was one funny part where, he's talking to the guy who breeds the lions. He's like, do you feel much affection, any love for the animals over time?
Yeah.
And he's like, fuck no.
Yeah.
He's like, walk near that fence. Walk near that fence. And the lions and he's like, you're just a walking meal. There's no love there.
That's right. Yeah. He gets really defensive about it. Yeah, absolutely. That was about the time where he was saying that they starved them longer than they would in the wild and things. Yeah. No, that guy was great, wasn't he?
That reminds me, have you seen the viral video about the people who raised the lion cub in England and then it eventually needed to go to a reserve because it got too big and they're like, this lion's going to kill someone eventually. So they descended it.
Well, quite a while ago.
I saw the video on my Facebook recently, but I think it was back in the 70s or 80s or something.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Maybe the 90s, maybe the early 90s, but so... There's this couple they raised a cub to almost a full-grown lion, and okay, you can't. I don't really understand how they were allowed to get away with the cub, but it gets to a point okay, it has to go to Africa now. It has to send it to a reserve. So they sent it to the reserve, and I don't know, 5 years later or something, they want to go and meet the lion again, catch up, and it's become the leader of its pack and everything. It's a fucked up video, man. They're searching for it. Again, I don't know how they're allowed to do it because it's literally just out in the open and being filmed. And then they find a lion, it comes crawling out. It starts to approach them, and then it pounces and it just hugs.
Oh wow!
And they literally just hey, yeah. And he's like, oh, you guys,
oh
sweet,
wow, really?
Great to see you, yeah.
That's amazing. Crazy.
Totally remembered them and was
that's not what I was expecting you to say.
I know. Because when it does pounce, and then no, it's sweet.
Wow, that's amazing.
Some touching videos I've seen. Hang on, let me rephrase that.
Touching is alright. Touching videos are fine.
If it's appropriate. Some videos I saw which were quite heartwarming were soldiers coming back from war and then them filming their pets coming up to them.
Yeah, I've seen that actually. That was quite good.
Good times.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's funny how attached animals get, how does that integrate?
Dogs, and we kind of think their intelligence is a step down, but if they got memory, they got intelligence.
I think in a lot of ways their baser instincts are a lot more closer to human baser instincts that we even care to admit, in a lot of sense.
Because they don't have as much information, I guess what they know is their world, and their world is a lot smaller, so they hold on to it.
I swear to God, and I'm a total scientific skeptic, but sometimes I swear to God, dogs are sort of
telepathic, yes.
Telepathic, yeah.
It's funny you say that, actually.
Because I was just thinking that.
Hey.
Yeah, no, actually, I don't remember where I read it, but apparently, they are in the sense that, so like, you know, your dog kind of is a reflection of how you're feeling. They were saying like, you know, if you're feeling sad, your dog is more inclined to look sad and look down. Whereas if you come home really energetic and happy, your dog's going to be running around like crazy as well because he's actually on that link with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is really interesting.
Well, I had a really bizarre one. Like there's something I've always remembered. We had a miniature schnauzer called Willie when I was a kid, and my dad, whenever he got up to take him for a walk, the dog would go nuts. Now, he didn't say, there was never a phrase he always used the dog would pick up on.
Yeah.
The leash was all the way down the hallway, attached to the kitchen, so he couldn't pick up on him looking at the leash or anything like that.
Yeah.
And he obviously got out of a chair, 19 times out of 20 or more, with the intention to do something other than take him for a walk, and the dog wouldn't do shit. But on the occasion, without fail pretty much, on the occasion he got up with the intention of going to get the leash and take him for a walk.
Yeah.
Immediately, as soon as out of the chair, dog would go nuts.
Wow.
It was
Just
weird.
straight away. Yeah,
Mum noticed it too. It was really bizarre.
That's amazing. That's really great.
It's interesting to think about how it's going to grow as well. So we were talking about before robots building robots, and now we've got Goofy raising Pluto.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that is kind of it's kind of the same, but sort of not.
In my mind, that was hilarious.
Dogs are so much more there's so much more, I guess, kinder and nicer around humans compared to cats. Cats are jerks.
Absolutely.
It comes to it, and it's funny. I've been thinking that for so long, and actually looked into the reasoning why, and apparently they've traced it back to when dogs and cats were first domesticated. Who knows when, back centuries ago. Well, maybe not centuries, maybe I'm taking it a bit far. But when dogs were domesticated, they were actually brought into the house by humans. They actually brought them in, whereas cats weren't actually ever brought in. Cats came on their own. And apparently that has a lot to do with why...
How the hell did they figure that out, though?
Well, back when, ancient Egyptian times and things like that.
But that's not really, well-recorded history. And that's the first known instance of cats. You'd assume they were still around before...
Yeah, I have to look into the study of what it was.
Them.
Yeah, exactly, with all the hieroglyphics and things like that, yeah.
you're relative to other periods,
No, but I don't even think, honestly, I don't even think it was back then. I think it was after that. Or it was about the time where, humans were, getting more civilized. But the way they came, to this conclusion was they did some kind of studies where they were able to find that if you call a cat, or if you call the cat by their name, they'll hear you, but they're not necessarily going to come the way a dog will come. So if you call a dog, he hears his name, he'll run to you you're his god. Whereas you call a cat, the cat will then make a choice of whether it's worth their while to come to you. Mm-hmm. That sort of thing.
I've got to say, I do disagree, though, with the idea that cats don't care who they feed them, who feeds them, don't really have individual personalities, are inherently selfish. First of all, I'm a bit of a cat person because I like the independent.
Oh, don't get me wrong, so am I. I love my cat. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Cause I watch the show there, so you can...
I love cats.
Because they're, I like the fact that they're independent and they'll go and do their own thing and then they can come here, but they're not as needy as dogs. But also and it's something my mum kind of observed is that because we've got a cat, Norton, at home, back in New Zealand, so I don't see him that much. When mum
Skype with him by any time.
No. If he shows up.
When he shows up,
Matt to accept.
She was just observing that when she went. She had to work in Auckland for a little bit. We live in Christchurch. She had to go to Auckland to work for several months. When she came back for the first week or so, the cat would kind of ignore her and be like, "Fuck you, you left me alone." And then eventually more go, "All right," but kind of resents you if you're not around for a while.
I've got a fun fact. The word cat came from the Egyptian times from the word for dog.
Oh, really?
Yep. I don't know.
For dog?
Yeah, what they called dog is...
The word for dog was cat.
Yeah, it was a longer form of cat, and they shortened it down and called cats.
Wow, that's quite interesting.
Okay.
I'd like to know where the origin came from. That's, or how that came to be. That's very interesting.
Hey, funny Wikipedia articles? There's actually a Wikipedia article dedicated to the relationship between cats and dogs.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah.
They actually made a really good documentary on it. I think it was made by Disney. It's called Cats vs. Dogs. That was a bit of a joke. I don't remember. I kind of switched it off halfway through.
That was a great cartoon.
Oh wait, Cats vs. Dogs, the one with Susan Sarandon and stuff. She's one of the voices.
Yeah, exactly.
That was horrible.
It was a terrible movie.
was...
And then made a sequel years and years later, like a massive time apart. And it's like, they only made it because they had 3D technology at this point. So it's like, let's try it again with 3D.
You know, and they tricked us because I was like about 12 when Cats and Dogs came out. And 12 sounds young now, but believe me, it was too old to be going to shit like that. 12 is when you start getting into like, you know, more live action stuff. I guess it's technically live action, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But they tricked us because it was directly after Shrek came out, and it was like, oh, children's movies are accessible for everyone and fun and good.
See, I never enjoyed Shrek, to be honest. Like, I don't think I've ever been able to watch it from start to finish.
Well, fair enough, but it's still legit. Like, if it's not your taste, then okay. But it's like, no, like it's in the same par as some of the enjoyable ones.
If anything, I think it was more trying to desensitize us to the fact that there's aliens around. Because look at Shrek. When have you ever seen an ogre with antennae for you know, on his head and things like that? Just, I don't know.
I've never really seen an ogre before, generally.
Yeah, okay, that's a good point. I don't know, he just didn't look very ogre-like to me. If I had to say he looked like something like an otherworldly creature or something.
Isn't an ogre a thing? It's like a fairy tale, you know?
An ogre?
Yeah.
That's a fair... I'm not too sure. Possibly, maybe the same as
it's like a mythology.
A goblin. No,
yeah,
a goblin's different. I think a goblin's like an undead creature, right? I could be speaking completely wrong here.
But again, they're like just like folklore characters.
Yeah.
Anyway, but my point was, with Shrek, I liked it. A lot of like people who weren't children liked it, and so we thought, oh, okay, it's sweet to go see those movies again. And Cats and Dogs from the trailer, they had some funny moments. Me and my friend went to watch it, and we were just like, what the fuck is it? And like, and like with about like we stayed to the end, and I swear to God, like. We said this earnestly, like an hour in with like 20 minutes to go. One of us was like, I think it's gonna get good soon. And then the credits rolled 20 minutes later, and I'm like, oh shit, it didn't.
Yeah, that was exactly my experience, except I didn't watch it in cinema. I think I watched it on my trusty old Amiga. No, it was further than Amiga. It was an old computer, definitely.
By the way, speaking of bad movies, Kevin, did you watch Jack and Jill in the end? Did you download it?
I didn't know.
I think I might have a USB to get it to you. I probably need to get it to you. Have you seen it before?
I don't really. It's the Adam Sandler one, right?
Yeah.
Nah.
I don't think I want to be honest.
No, but this is a promise that we made
I'll definitely
before.
do it.
Yeah,
but,
we're talking about. I'm not going to give my opinion on it because I watched it.
I'll watch it.
We need to give a joint review. Are you willing to give a joint review?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah,
all right.
I'll watch anything. Like I've watched Donnie Darko too, so you can't get any worse than that, really. But,
is there number 2?
Yeah, it's pretty much
like a horrible.
It's not the same writer. It's terrible. It's awful.
Oh, so they just cashed in.
Is
that even legal? Does he need to pay? Does he need to pay the writer for the first one to do that?
I imagine they probably would have, but it was terrible. Like it just made no sense whatsoever.
My prediction with Jack and Jill, and I'm not going to say what my verdict was. I have to watch it until you guys watch it.
They go up the hill and then they.
My prediction was that it's probably underrated, not in the sense that it's good, but in the sense that it's probably not really as bad as everybody says. It's more just because people wanted to pick on Adam Sandler for being a parody of himself. We'll see.
Is that what he was doing though? I still
No, he wasn't intentionally being a parody of himself. Okay. It's just when it was like Adam Sandler plays himself and his sister. People were like, oh my god, it's like
how original. Eddie Murphy didn't do this.
It's like if South Park were to make fun of Adam Sandler with like a hypothetical idea. Yeah. They would come up with that kind of thing. The actual movie itself, I was thinking probably wouldn't actually be as like unwatchable as say like I don't know, Catwoman, like a real
movie existed. Why did you remind me?
Real shitstorm. I haven't seen Catwoman, but I imagine it's unwatchable. But I won't tell you what my verdict was until these two watch it. I think I've got it on my USB, so I'll probably be able to. I don't know, but if I've got my USB here, I can give it to you.
Yeah, well, I can probably get it pretty easily. So yeah.
Yeah, so you can sit out in your end, and I'll give it to Kevin.
Yeah, I'll download it from Google Play Music or Google Videos, and definitely legally, and not via.
And I'll go to the local JB Hi-Fi and purchase a copy.
For those viewers watching at home who don't know, Kevin works in basically sort of a tech role. Is responsible for the filming of this internet show and does not have Wi-Fi in his house. He's probably...
See, but this is a conscious decision. I like to disconnect and actually live life and physically see things around me. So the more I can disconnect from unneeded tech, I do that.
It's really good actually, and a lot of times I find myself wanting that too, because during the day my occupation involves me being completely within Facebook and Twitter and things like that. And then I find that as soon as I get home and I get up from my office, I go home and do the exact same thing only on my personal ones. And yeah, it does get a bit much all of a sudden. I feel like the Facebook timeline has become the new equivalent to opening the fridge and seeing what's in there, even though you're not hungry at all.
Yep, exactly. I deactivated my Facebook like maybe 15 months ago. They're still sending me emails like,
oh really? Because
come
your
back,
profile's not inactive.
you can't delete it. It's just like, it's just.
You just deactivate.
I think I poked you the other day actually.
That's what that was. Yeah, but they don't, like, there's automated stuff that says they just pick random people and says, oh, these people miss you, come back to Facebook.
Yeah, you can deactivate it, but you can't actually truly ever get rid of it. Actually,
I'm sure if you know the right person or if you really pursue it, you can get it.
Yeah, you could take legal action somehow, possibly, but then come on,
Give me
try to
heads up.
sue Facebook.
I'm trying to delete all that shit.
It was because it was only deactivated because you were able to get me that picture you took.
It's true.
It'd be interesting to know what your motivation behind that is, though. Like, why are you so sort of against wanting to be, or why you want to be off Facebook so much? Like, the fact that you've taken all these measures, I guess.
Well, my 9 to 5 is trying to advance technology and shit, but I don't want to get lost in, like, the humanity behind it. But that still exists.
Okay, right.
So you push as much as you can towards this direction, but don't forget that there's all this other stuff happening.
Okay.
There's like toddlers who don't know what technology is and shit, and their minds can go either way, and they choose to go technology. So I'll just try to keep open to all the possibilities.
It's interesting, Chris, that you asked what Kevin's motivation was because apparently you hate motivation.
Whoa, clean.
No. So that's completely misconstrued.
This is a headline. This is sensationalism. Chris hates motivation.
I've got no idea what this is about. I just saw it written on a sheet of paper.
So, and hate is a strong word, but you see, like, well, you still got Facebook, so you should, I don't know what kind of friends you keep or whatever, but you jump onto your timeline, you're scrolling, and all of a sudden, bam, nice picture, and there's a quote like clouding that picture. Inspire someone today, be motivational, and this is something that I actually read on a Maddox blog that I kind of related to a lot. But people motivating other people without honest intentions. It's like, I'll put this motivational quote up there about, how you should change your thoughts from negativity to brightness and let, good things happen to you. But then what's your motivation? What are these people's motivations behind doing it? Are you doing it because you genuinely want to reach your friends and want to make a difference with them? Or are you wondering how many likes you're going to get and how many retweets and how many shares you're going to get and how many comments you're going to get about it? And then when someone actually calls you on something that you post, like I do to my friends all the time, you're on, like...
I'm sure you're not insufferable on Facebook at all. The guy who just jumps on the thread and was just like, me, I disagree with this.
No, you know what?
You're part of the problem as well. You're part of the South Park problem. This Facebook problem as well.
Someone's putting something in there that they want to reach someone with, and then when you ask them what exactly are you trying to reach, they'll reply with a, lol, just kidding. Lol, okay, I get it. Lol,
they won't get into a confrontation, actually defend an idea.
Because they can't, because they don't know how, because they didn't post that inspirational to have a conversation or to reach anybody. They posted it to see how many people would like it, and how many people would be like, oh, look at what my friend posted today. Oh, that's awesome, I'll retweet it.
That is exactly what Facebook is.
That's what Facebook is for dumb people. Dumb people should not be allowed on Facebook.
The only people on Facebook.
No, but I disagree with that. You can have conversations with people
you stay connected. Some places like interesting. You jump in, you talk about. I like Facebook.
So I'm speaking about
get the people that you don't feel off your feed.
Well, I'm actually slowly taking steps to doing that now. And you know what? That's funny. I actually jumped onto my list and I did that thing, that taboo that, everyone hates you for. Oh, you unfriended me on Facebook. I went on Facebook yesterday and culled half of my list because I had 238 friends and it's like, I don't speak to 238 fucking people. What is this? And I looked through it and I was looking through it. Half of them are deactivated. Well, they took the easy way out. And the half of people, I don't even know these people. When did I add these people? And then I'm like, I'll give them a chance. Like, oh, this person, I used to work with them. Oh, I'm mutual friends with this person. Dumb people posting stupid stuff, dumb stuff. I think I've gotten down to 80 people now, possibly.
Am I still on there?
You're still on there. Yeah, you've never left. And you're highlighted thanks to Lorenzo when he added you. Thanks to Lorenzo, every time you post a status or a thought or something, it'll come up and give me a notification about it. Which, don't get me wrong, you're a great guy and I love you. But I got the shits with that. It's like, no, I don't care at 3 a.m. that Matt just updated his status update. See, that was a little bit...
It is at 3 a.m. too.
It really was at 3 a.m. I was asleep.
Look, can I jump in?
Yeah, please do.
Alright, so, people who I find insufferable on Facebook. Inspirational quotes. Okay, here's my take, alright? I don't mind if someone posts an inspirational quote. Every now and again, if I think there's a quote that's really wise or a really good quote, I'll put it up. My problem is people who only post inspirational quotes. Or I've got a friend who it's either, you know, a motivational thing or a thing about, oh, I finally hit my reps at the gym. It's always self-improvement. I'm doing my best. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, will you just post like a picture of a funny cat or whatever? And then, like, if it's only funny cats, that pisses me off too. It pisses me off when
follow a page for that.
Yeah, it pisses me off when someone only posts like one kind of theme thing and just keeps doing it. Like, if it's political, I've got this one guy on my Facebook who's like, you know, real like big political activist, and like every single post just like, this is wrong society, this is blah. It's like, dude, do you ever just chill out and watch a movie? Like, do you ever have a thought that isn't about like how to?
They could be expressing that on like another platform. So it's like, oh, this is anti-government or whatever. I'll put it to Facebook. Oh, this is about cupcakes and lollipops. I'll put it on.
I don't mind if they put it on Facebook, as long as they
Facebook.
like differentiate a little bit and just don't turn into a cartoon version of themselves. Like, the way I do Facebook, and I'm perfect on Facebook, alright? No one is going to dislike me in my posts.
Even at 3 a.m. Gold.
Well, they don't have to, you know, I'm not going to send it to their phone. It's just on their feed. They want to see it. But I'll be like, okay, here's a quote I like. Here's a cool video. Here's a funny thought I had, or a thought that I think is funny, you know. Here's an article over there. You know, I switch it up.
And what's your motivation behind the things that you post? Are you posting it for any reason in particular, or are you just posting it because it's something you enjoyed?
I would say 90% of the time it's purely just to give value and say, like, look, I thought it was cool, check it out. Yeah. And look, if I have a big achievement, I'll Facebook brag every now and again. I mean, I won't do it, or like I'll notice if I've done it like 3 times in a row. I've said, "Oh, I did this good thing." Like that's going to become insufferable. But if I
went to the gym again, here's a photo to prove it.
You know, if I
walk past the gym, straight to the ice cream shop.
If I
get mugged at the gym, help somebody.
Look, for instance, this is the kind of thing I've done before. If I say I do stand up and like I win a competition, I'll be like, I fucking won semi-finals in. Sweet. Like I don't mind. Like I think you should be able to brag if you have like a legitimate, like real standout achievement that doesn't happen every day.
Yeah, most definitely, yeah.
But if it's every single time you get like, you know, MVP at work or whatever, you're like, got MVP there.
Again, is anyone still listening? No, definitely. But again, yeah, I think what you said is like it's quite a large audience on Facebook, and I guess my troubles is with a certain demographic of Facebook. Like I said, people that are posting things with no real thought behind what they're posting, except I wonder how many people.
Well, I don't think there needs to be thought behind like what it should be, and the way that people should perceive it is back to the original idea of putting the inspirational quotes or whatever. Somebody sees a quote and goes, "Oh, I've been inspired by that," so they share it. Like that's the only thought. It's not like.
What if it's a wrong inspiration though? You know, what if that leads? It's like, oh, be yourself today. Don't take any shit from anyone. Someone reads it, yeah. They go to work. You know what, boss? Fuck you, boss. And they're fired, and they ruin their life, and their life is over.
It's a very good argument, because when you think about like anything that's popular, like pop music or whatever, people don't like things because they think it's the best thing. They like it because it's edgy or it's controversial or it touches different emotions. You could share something, an inspirational quote doesn't have to inspire somebody to be good. You can inspire them to.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's like it's interesting. It's not necessarily good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good point. No, definitely.
Hey, you know what? I was thinking about this on the way, actually. I said I didn't have topics. I did have something I wanted to. You know what annoys me in real life Facebook? You know, life. People who can't make any conversation. I was thinking because you posted me the Reddit about like the topics of good manners,
social laws. Yep.
Yeah, social laws. That's a good way to put this. Sorry I didn't reply to any message. I was working my ass off at work today, so you didn't have time to reply.
But just real quick, so next week I want to do the whole episode on those social laws.
Yeah, in particular.
Okay,
yeah,
well, we'll give you a quick preview, because here's my social law. There's no obligation to make conversation. If you can't think of anything like kind of, you know, interesting to say to someone, just don't talk to them. Because it's fucking awkward when someone puts you in this position.
It's time.
I'm going to give a couple of examples, and by the way, if this show ever becomes popular and a bunch of people end up checking it out.
This is your opinion.
We might have to censor this segment so I don't insult someone who works with me. But there's this guy at work, and you have to deal with this when people know you're a comedian sometimes. You just don't you want to talk about comedy all the time. But like, I wouldn't even mind if you kind of like, oh, it's just something really funny tonight. This is a version of a conversation we had today, right? I'm sitting out, I'm having a coffee, I'm listening to like one of the podcasts I listen to, and I'm having, you know, my breakfast before work. I don't really mind if someone comes up like, I know I was talking to me, that's weird, I'm not an asshole. But he comes up. Well, yeah, still, I do. I guess I kind of want to like listen to my podcast. So maybe I'm a bit of an asshole, but okay, this would piss anyone off. Because hey, mate, I'm like, pause the podcast. It's not the end of the world. Like, pause the podcast. Say, all right, speak. So you see something on TV the other day. They said that national rule. What's the football tournament that's going on? Not FIFA, the Australian one.
The AFL?
Yeah,
No.
the AFL, yeah, regional. I don't watch
State of
Australian
Origin?
football.
State of Origin.
Origin, the fucking footy! Sorry.
They said
This is what you do, right?
They said the State of Origin was going to be like something like, I don't know, like a tire or a dead ringer or whatever. Or I don't know what it was. Something, I don't know what the term was, but I'm like, no, I didn't because I don't watch sports. I was like, no, I didn't, man. And he's like, nah. I was thinking you'd think of something funny about that. Maybe that it's kind of like, you know, something. And I'm like, okay, all right. He's like, done much comedy recently? I'm like, no, man, I've been a bit slow recently. And he's like, Jerry Seinfeld, you know, he's a comedian. I think he's retired now. I'm like, no, yeah,
wow.
he still does a bit. Yeah. I really, you know, I prefer to just drink my coffee and listen to my podcast.
Yeah, go away.
Yeah, I mean,
get away from me, you boring person.
And someone on like a similar personality type, and I've got another example of this, is someone who, do you have anyone like this who always repeats the same topics of conversation they literally said to you last time? I've got a guy at this cafe next to me when I go get my coffee. There's this guy, you know how they like to make small talk with you sometimes. I don't mind making small talk with people serving me. That's sweet. Again, I'm not an asshole. Yeah. But I used to...
Well, there's time and place. You know, you got to be in the right head frame.
Yeah, actually, especially like first in the morning, it's like... Oh,
sometimes you just can't. It literally hurts to try and form words. Like,
Yeah, I actually sometimes I'm like that too. But like, okay, what will happen? Like, the flatmate before my current flatmate. I know we might not get to all of our topics. Sorry.
It's alright.
Okay, so yeah, my first original flatmate, who's been out for about a year now, used to always go there for coffee, and you know, his name's Henry, and this exact conversation has happened like 10 times. I shit you not, at least 5. Exact conversation. I get my coffee. I'm waiting for my coffee. He's like, "So Matt, do you still see Henry?" Yeah, I do, man. Yeah. Yeah. You still catch up with him? Yeah. Say hi to him for me, will you? I will. And it's fine to say that, but I already told you last 3 days ago that I see Henry sometimes.
Well,
I already told him I'd say hello to you.
Next time you see him,
the time before that, I said the same thing.
Next time, first thing you say,
hey, guess what? I saw this guy.
Yeah,
he's dead.
Yeah. I was thinking that he's dead. Yeah, he got hit by a car. That's terrible. You might want to call him. His family's not doing well.
Yeah, but seriously, don't ask me the trillionth fucking time if I still see Henry. I do. I'll say hi to him.
There you go. If you're watching,
hell, guy at a cafe shop.
You know,
Jesus.
The one thing that irks me is kind of on that same line when somebody has a conversation with somebody and then they learn their shit and then repeat it verbatim to somebody else. Like they go into a meeting, somebody says something to them, and then they come back and they just say exactly what they just heard, like they know it, like but they've just heard it. That actually pisses me off.
There's a good quote you can put on Facebook.
Or you hear about football, like, oh, did you hear this guy?
Did you see what Lucas display last night?
And then they pretend that they saw it, and then they're like, did you see that? No,
you didn't see it. You know what?
Here's a good quote.
What about what happened after?
Here's something.
This guy knows. How's this guy? He knows all about it.
Here's a good quote for you to put on Facebook. An ignorant person is someone who does not know something you learnt 5 minutes ago.
Nice.
Yeah. Don't post this, I'll hate it.
Dislike.
On Facebook, what I don't, one of my pet peeves on Facebook is that people don't leave what's on the internet. So you type something like, I had a bagel, and then they see you go, oh man, how's that bagel? Fuck, don't worry about it. If I can say it to your face, don't bring it off my fucking that shit.
So Facebook's all over the internet. You know what's not on the internet that much these days? Napster.
Napster. Good old Napster. That's funny, we were just talking about that earlier this morning. After we watched that amazing new Weird Al video, if you haven't seen it yet, Tacky, please do it. Do yourself a favour, it's amazing.
I'm all about his marketing strategy for the album as well. He's announced it's going to be his last album, and he's like releasing those little 8 1-episode like video clips.
So I think he said he was going to do it for 8 days and 8 videos, and his motivation or his theory behind that was like the quote that I sent to you was that he knows that releasing a comedy album is different to releasing say something that sensational Beyonce will release. Fuck Beyonce, by the way. But so his theory is like a song a day, so that at least for one day of each of those days, he'll be a viral, sensational hit. I think that's probably one of the best ways.
And also moving forward, he wants to release like 3-4 song albums, like short EPs, so that he can just get material out there.
Yeah.
So he's not waiting. The fans aren't waiting for like a full thing.
Yeah.
It's a good point. The digital age, like maybe bands will just start releasing only singles because it's like. Yeah, the point of like you don't have to make physical CDs anymore, so why?
And people don't make albums like this. Pisses me off as well. People cannot make albums anymore. They make a whole bunch of tracks, just string them together in an order and put it on an album.
Yeah,
that art is almost gone. So people that can do it, they hold on to that shit. But people coming up just fucking releasing.
You know what I would do? Yeah. You know what I would do if I was a rock star? I'd fantasize about it every day. But
let me tell you how it works.
You know how like some of those bands like after 5 or 6 albums they'll release like the B-sides, which like Pearl Jam did like a lot of big bands that like
Green Day used to do it a lot as well. I'm a massive Green Day fan.
Yeah, after several albums they'll put out like a collection of the ones that didn't make it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was justifiable back in the day where it was only physical CDs, but now that it's digital, what I would do is like if I'm like a famous rock star and I've made millions and millions and millions of dollars. Once I've got enough, I would just be like, hey, torrent, just like I'm not even gonna give this to the record company. Here's all the stuff that didn't make it, like 3 albums worth of outtakes.
Yeah,
just have it, internet. Thank you for buying the CDs.
There's legal stuff around that. If you're on a major, you can't do that shit. If you're independent, then a lot of people do.
You broker a deal with you.
It's kind of it's inevitable though. Anyway, like content's going to get on torrent sites and things, free media anyway. And like me, I'm personally not against it. Like my band, like we've actually brought out a couple of singles this year. And we've got them on like all the paid channels like iTunes and Google Play, Spotify, all of that. But if I see it pop up on a torrent site, I'm not going to take any steps against it. Like,
no,
to me, it's
you can't, and then you're kind of fucked.
I can't, and I wouldn't want to anyway because there's like it or not, there's a large demographic that will only download something through a torrent first.
Not even that, but if your idea of making music is for somebody to listen to it.
Yeah, exactly. You want to get it out there. It's like the amount of money that you're making back from these companies is ridiculous anyway. I think like one play from Spotify, it was something like less than a cent per play, something like that. It's ridiculous. It's like you get your half yearly thing, just like, yes, I made 3 cents. Oh wait, nothing under 5 cents exists anymore.
For music, something that's not physical, I don't think it's even reasonable to expect money from it.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Unless like something that someone can physically hold, they'll pay for it.
I guess, yeah, but like I said, there are a lot of people. You've got the iOS fans that will only download from iTunes. It's like, oh, there's a new song, I have to have it immediately, and that's where they'll get it from. Where you'll have the torrent people and like people downloading it for that, but then you'll find a lot of the time, if like I'm one of those people, if I download something that I didn't necessarily get off iTunes or something like that, if I really like the artist, I'll go out and buy the CD. I'll go out and buy it legitimately because I want that high quality copy. And probably more than just the song itself. I might not even buy the song from iTunes or whatever, but I'll buy some merch, which...
Or you get into the group and then they come and you buy a ticket to the show.
You buy, exactly, and then you buy merch at the show.
Shirts, exactly.
Exactly, yeah.
So, Napster, why did they get out of the game? They were sued by somebody.
Yeah, they were destroyed by Metallica, I thought.
Metallica,
it was originally Metallica, I thought, that went nuts.
Funny that a really badass band was the one that did it.
Yeah.
Like, not a pop singer, but like kind of an anti-material. I guess Metallica don't have like an anti-materialism.
They did cop a lot of flack for it though, being Metallica and doing it. I remember
Rebels,
that.
Like, come on, man.
I myself, my fight back was that, alright, I'll download as much Metallica as I can through Napster. While
exactly, they probably shot themselves in the foot. There were probably a lot of protest downloads over it. Yeah.
I downloaded, I think, their whole discography, and then I found I didn't even like Metallica that much. What do you know?
I used to download everything. And I still probably download the majority of stuff, but I started to make a point of like trying to, if it's a band or artist that I really like, and if they're not particularly rich, like for instance, I bought the old Chrome Edison Show new album and their former member Willie Watson, because they're like, I'm sure they can look after themselves, but they're not like rolling in it. There's like Eminem, I really like his music, but if it comes out early, I'll torrent it and not buy the album. Like, you're fine.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
You're gonna make like $10 million this year.
I don't think it was any skin off his nose that I downloaded that new EP.
And he probably disagrees, but like, no, you should buy it, and like he has the right to be like that. But fuck you, man, I don't care.
Yeah.
But if it came out with like a sweet jewel case with like his signature.
Oh no, if he can sell me, fine. I'm just like, I'm not gonna feel guilty for stealing his music because
Exactly.
he's like one of the biggest selling artists of all time.
I still think freedom of information online, that if it's a digital transfer or something, then pay for it. Like if it's there, everyone's entitled to it.
But then there's some people that, I don't know, so like Kanye, for instance, when he came out with his Yeezus, with his Revelation album.
Which sucked. I listened to that the other day, off topic, but no.
No, well, you know what? Actually, I listened to it and I was quite a fan of the music itself. Kanye's a douchebag to me, but I just really like the way the music and things were put together. A lot of the songs, like the first track particularly, sounds like it was just an iOS app that was put together. But so I actually liked the album enough that I was like, all right, I'll go buy it. Why not? I went to buy the album and I was looking for it. I was looking for so long for this album. And after about 5 to 10 minutes, I realized it was right in front of me. The reason I didn't realize is because it was literally just a jewel case with no cover, and it had a little strip on the side of it with badly scrawled writing that had Yeezus written on it. The CD itself had no writing on it. It was just a blank CD. And I picked it up and I thought about it for probably all of 30 seconds. And I'm like, you know what? You don't need this sale. That offended me, man.
I don't know if it's like, it could be like an arty thing, or it could be
It is an arty thing.
I don't believe it was an arty thing. That was a douchey thing to do.
It could be a throwback to the time.
Well, it was just to piss you off.
Well, maybe not just me, but it's just like, I'm going to make this much money on it anyway, and even though I released this shitty piece of crap, you're still going to buy it. I think that's the statement he was making there.
I like Kanye West, and I like Yeezus.
Yeah, like I said, the album, I quite like it.
Maybe
except for that Kim Kardashian riding the bike backwards.
No, but here's my theory on that. Here's my Matt's music criticism. My theory on Yeezus, none of those songs are good as singles. Yeezus is an album, not a collection of songs. That song, the video copped a lot of flack, and okay, it deserved a lot of it. The James Franco thing was hilarious, but even then the video is sort of like, it seems to be self-aware of kind of like the parody image of Kanye West, and I think he's kind of going like, yeah, fuck you, I don't care. I'm on a motorbike with my beautiful wife. He thinks she's beautiful. I don't, fuck you. Like, I'm gonna be like, as Kanye West can be.
That's what he is. He's fuck you.
But here's my main thing about, because I did not see that video. I listened to the album before that video came out, before the singles released. That album is an album. It's made you to be listening from track 1 through to the end track. And that being the last track of the album, like, perfectly ties it up. It's a perfect kind of, like, full stop on the...
absolutely. Like I said,
on the CD.
I was a massive fan of it. Like, I'm not going to lie, I listened to it quite a lot. And, I don't think there was one song on there that I didn't appreciate. Like, some of them were really good. I like the first one in particular. Like, it just sounds like he's literally, like, hasn't even thought anything through with it. But halfway through, he's just going and he even laughs at himself. Because he's actually that much... Yeah. He's just having fun with it. And I thought that was really cool.
Yep.
Yeah, Dark Twisted Fantasy, I think, is his best.
Yeah, see, that's funny. Like, that's one I actually haven't ever listened to from start to finish. I actually liked the one before that. 808s and Heart. Yeah, actually,
I haven't listened to that.
That was completely different. Like, it's tacky. It's very commercial, but it's so different to anything I've heard him do previously.
I think it's the only one I don't have my iPod, actually.
Yeah, I recommend just giving it a listen. Even if you haven't listened to it once, start to finish, it's different to a lot of the other things. Mm-hmm. Yeah, South Park actually did an excellent parody of one of the songs.
There was that. There's the so long ago. Is that actually directly off
one of the songs? Yeah.
Oh no, I thought it was just like a generic Kanye song.
The video clip for that song, the proper song, is actually really good as well. It's like, it's a cartoon, but it's set in like the old school cartoon set, like Aristocrats and like that kind of movies.
Yeah,
like Disney's. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've got a totally different view on Kanye West. I'll listen to his interviews. I'll like read up about him like to no end.
There's one where he went nuts.
I don't like that one. On stage with the deal on his head?
No, this was who was the DJ? He went insane on this DJ, like, just did this crazy, like a massive dummy speak. Damn, I don't remember who it was. Anyway, sorry, continue. Yeah, I'll send it to you if I find it.
So, what the people, the part of Kanye that I don't like the person, I like that, I admire that. And then what people do like, the music, I could take or leave it like.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Different strokes, different folks.
Yeah, no, of course.
Okay, we've got 5 minutes left. Are we going to do these topics, or do you want to like just do our pre-planned segments we had?
I had some funny ideas around our Dumb and Dusted. I'd like to get that in there.
Okay, we're going to do Weekly Contrarian beforehand? Or are we going to do Weekly Contrarian?
Let's do it.
It's not. We can run a bit over time, can't we? It's like,
Yep.
you know, we are
A little bit. My
creators of the
train's
show.
not going for about 40 minutes, so I've got to run over time a little bit.
So at least your
Well, fuck
train
you, I
isn't
wanna go
sealed
home.
off.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
lot of time.
well,
14, 14.
40.
Yeah,
do you have to be up at 5 a.m? and
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying we do have time because of
Yeah.
that.
So,
That's good.
onto your segment.
Alright,
Contrarian.
so this is Weekly Contrarian, where I represent a very contrarian viewpoint.
Yep.
So Ian Thorpe, the swimmer, has he come out as gay, or is he going to come out?
I
as
think
Yeah.
so.
It was on Parkinson's a couple of days ago.
Yeah, so like I started watching the interview, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't watch all of it. I don't think I watched the revelation where he actually came out completely.
I watched the whole thing. I didn't know what it was about, and I started watching it, and then it was like, oh, where's this going?
Yeah. None of that business.
But I watched the whole thing out of interest.
So
what's your take on this?
well, it's good that he's come out. You know, that's good for him. However, you know, let's face it, being gay, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's inconvenient.
Okay.
You know, in most places you don't have as many rights as everyone else.
Okay.
So it's sad. And although there's nothing wrong with it, I feel bad for him. But all this could have been avoided if he didn't take up swimming. I think if Ian Thorpe
Hang on.
didn't swim, he wouldn't be gay.
That's like something in the chlorine or...
That's an
Wow, that's
interesting
interesting.
idea. I didn't even think about that. Because you know how like chlorine will make your eyes red and hurt your eyes. That's maybe because often gay people have bloodshot eyes, don't they?
I don't know. I don't know if you can base
I
that
hadn't
on
even thought of
any.
it that way. But that's interesting. It's interesting.
Okay, but back up your claim, bud.
Yeah, please do.
I
I'm
see
very
where you're
interested to
coming
know.
from on this.
Yeah.
Well, pools are often cold,
Okay.
and you know what happens when you're in a cold water. Yeah,
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
little
Yeah, I think we've all been there.
Smaller.
It's been a cold
You
day
know,
at the beach, most definitely.
Yeah, have a cold shower, a cold, just even a cold morning. Just
So
cold
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You look around for somebody warming up.
Well, no, I reckon you could say, you get out of the pool and, your soldier's not as big as it was and you feel inadequate. So,
Alright.
generally speaking, I guess, you're embarrassed to show it to a lady. And,
Okay, I'm gonna challenge this and say that he's probably been training in heated pools, as most athletes do.
Interesting.
Your move.
gay people like spas, don't they? Do they? Who doesn't?
I don't know. I mean,
So
I like
that's- maybe
spas.
that-
I'm pretty sure I'm not.
Maybe
gay.
that's okay.
Um,
Point two, well, maybe.
Well,
I don't know.
As far as I know, I don't know. I've got quite an extensive porn collection. I mean, no, I don't.
Point two, still sticking with the penis angle here.
Okay. Let's assume he didn't
Uh,
swim in heated pools, just for the sake of the argument.
Swimming caps kind of make kids look like penises. And so it's like you're just swimming all day. You're drunk, shriveled up, so you're embarrassed to be around women. You're seeing nothing but kind of penis innuendo on all these other guys' heads. And over time, that gets ingrained. If you don't believe me, then how come he's only letting us know now after a decade of swimming? Why didn't he let us know before he started swimming? Because he probably wasn't gay, so there was nothing to disclose.
This is a solid theory. I can't disprove or attempt to.
Yeah.
It's something interesting. Yeah, I'm very much lost for words for that one. I'm not too sure, but
Yeah, well
I
argued.
think you might have.
You're
a point.
welcome for the knowledge.
Thank you. I'll take that into account now every time I see
Stay out of the pool.
yeah.
So, Ian Thorpe,
Swim in heated pools.
congratulations, and I'm sorry.
Okay, well done.
Oh.
If anybody watches this show, we're gonna have to apologise to Glad next episode.
Yeah, I suppose that.
They don't really get irony.
I'm not sure who Glad is.
Again, there's been an alliance against discrimination. Is that what it stands for?
Right, possibly.
I thought you meant like the clean wrap.
Is that another a part of your argument?
Yes.
Go
on. I don't
like
know.
Glad wrap in the absence of.
I don't have any more of this argument. I
swimming
think I've been thorough enough.
Right.
I've proved that
It's
point.
pretty clear cut. I thought.
We're moving on to Dumb and Dusted.
Yeah.
Are we gonna do the jingle live, or are you gonna put in a jingle afterward?
Let's put in a jingle after. So let's cut to the jingle.
It's stupid. It's stupid. It's no longer relevant. It's dumb and dusted.
This week's Dumb and Dusted.
Sweet. So this week's Dumb and Dusted, we're going to do old school wooden tennis rackets.
Yep, wooden frame tennis rackets.
Mm-hmm.
Dumb and Dusted.
Yep, Dumb and Dusted completely.
So, until you brought it to my attention, I didn't even remember of such a device existing. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me now that I think about it.
Yeah, they're just heavy and stupid. And not
And
really
And
small.
splinters, like
They're very much smaller as well.
Well, that too, yeah.
I've got a. You see, a good story. My story isn't that good, so I'm going to do my story first, and you can take them home. Back when I was a kid, I did a bit of tennis in middle school because you had to do a sport, and I guess tennis was the lesser of annoying sports. I wasn't good at it, but I had to do something, so I did that. And we had an old wooden tennis racket from back when, like, my mum was a girl. I don't know if it was my mum's, it might have been her grandma's or like her aunt's or whatever. Or her mother's. Sorry, my grandma. But yeah. And she, like, now some kids will be like, yeah, I don't like that color of the car you bought me, and they're really ungrateful.
Yeah.
Sometimes, though, it is okay to be like, no, Mum, you can't give me that. Like, she was like, take this to tennis practice, and I'm not fucking showing up with that.
So
Like, we're going to the sporting store, we're getting
just to
a real
understand,
tennis racket.
this is modern day, and they're playing with like aluminum frames.
Yeah.
And you rock up. So potentially,
Well, I couldn't rock
Oh,
up.
wow.
It's
It's a
a story.
surefire way to get
That's-
bullied.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's why it isn't that great of a story, is because I didn't actually end up going with it. But she was like, just use this. And I'm like, Mum, no. Like, that's not happening, alright? You're buying me a real tennis racket because I'm not rocking up to school. I mean, mainly because we had the bullying from it, like, what, man? But also because it would be blatantly unfair.
And because
Compete with that shit.
because-
Especially as I
for
say.
the exact reason that today they're dumb and dusted. You have these new rackets that are like the head size is bigger. You can string it exactly the way you want. It's lighter. If you break it or whatever, it's easier to fix. They're cheaper to make, cheaper to buy. There's no reason to go back to the
They're new and gnarly.
Yeah. So there's absolutely no reason for there to be wooden framed rackets unless
Yeah.
they're like in a museum or something.
Fucking stupid.
Keep me on
Absolutely.
glass.
And they're going one step further now. I don't know if you've seen them, but they've actually now come out. I think Slazenger have come out with a smart racket now, which is actually it does, essentially it does for a tennis racket what a fitness racket does for your arm. It concentrates on your stroke, on your swing, things like that. Your practice, repetition, things like all those kind of things. It was actually quite interesting. I didn't read too much into it because I'm not a tennis guy, but yeah, it's interesting what they're doing now with smart devices. I think there's even a smart basketball now that I've seen.
I've seen those, and golf balls and stuff.
And golf balls, yeah, it's quite interesting things that they're getting into now. The world's getting scary. Soon it will just be robots. We'll be working for the robots.
That's good.
Wait, that wouldn't make sense.
Maybe. If dogs can own dogs. But
I'm just saying, we wouldn't be nearly as capable as a robot would to do a job. But then, who knows?
robots like fronting like they got smart humans. Imagine you had a smart golf ball, you paid like $400 for it. You tee off in the hole, or in the water.
In the water, short seconds, all over. Wonder if they'd do warranty
It's
or
like wires coming out the side. Shit.
Oh, it's a simple solution though. You get the hole in none.
You have to worry about hackers though.
Yeah.
Playing in a professional sport, you could hit the ball and if it disappears, someone could hack into that ball and say, oh, it's actually gone this much further.
Yeah.
Or it's actually here, who knows. It's interesting. All this e-sport business coming in lately, who knows.
So, wooden tennis rackets, dumb and dusted.
Yeah. Get the graphite.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
What the deodorant?
Yeah. Graphite rackets are good as well, because when you get angry and you slam them down, they bounce back up and do flips and shit. You do that with a wooden racket, one hit.
You could take that a step further and put some springs in it and make it a novelty racket. Yeah. It could be a gimmick for like a really professional player. Like Serena, could you imagine her? Like full with the crazy movements, do a backflip and stuff.
I'm all about those huge rackets. You seen these?
Excellent.
There is one more thing that we can touch on because I think it's today, the young metal band.
Yes,
Unlocking the Truth.
Unlocking the Truth.
Tell us about this.
Well, I know very little about it just from what I scrolled through it, except, so they've unlocked the truth of metal.
That's it.
These 15-year-old kids in this middle school. 3 kids, and from what I've heard, actually what you told me is like, apparently none of them are actually really into metal itself. They've all got their own taste, pop, dubstep, whatever dubstep is. I'm still having difficulties finding. And R&B. And they've just been offered, or I think they've just been given this $1.8 million deal contract from Sony to, pursue their dreams of metal, even though none of them apparently listen to metal. And I thought it was really interesting.
So why do they start making metal music, sorry?
See, like that. To be honest, like I did not care to read much further than listen to the song. All I know is that the song that they put on YouTube went completely viral, and through that they got the attention of Sony, and they got
the song they did was probably like they just did it, like they weren't thinking about we want to be a metal band. They just like listening, like young kids do.
Yeah, but I think there's a danger in that, and if they do accept this deal, whatever, Sony,
they're fucked.
So they've accepted it, and like it sounds really good on paper, but Sony essentially own those 3 kids for as long as that deal is going to play out.
Yep. Plus, they have to split that 1.8 million 4 ways, and
it's a loan tax. Like that's basically
So,
a record contract works in the sense that it's like a loan you get from the bank. So you'll get that money, but that's not your money. You've got to pay us that money back in sales, and if you can't pay it back in sales, well, you're gonna have to pay it back elsewhere. You have to start selling kidneys and stuff. Oh, you're 15?
I don't think that's how record contracts work. They're not like...
No, but really, that
sales,
money needs
now
to
you
be
have
paid
to
back.
work and...
No, but absolutely.
It's an advance.
Don't they have to assume some risk, though?
No, they're advancing your money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What the smart people do is they negotiate like a cut or whatever.
Yeah.
But the popular deal is an advance.
Yeah, it's essentially a bank loan.
This money for these albums. All right, I'll take it. They don't tell you. They need it back.
Yeah, you need to make that. They're giving you that money, and because they're sure that you'll be able to make it back in spades. But a lot of the time, that's not the case, and then a lot of the time, those artists will get screwed. There's been quite a few Australian acts that have been like that have actually been a victim of Sony for that reason. They've been given a whole bunch of money, they've spent that money, and then they couldn't make the money back. So it does happen. Music industry is harsh, folks.
And to do it, to consciously do it to poor 15-year-old kids who don't even have the passion for the music, they're just overnight just...
Oh, but look, if they're from a YouTube video they've been able to get this attention, then I don't think there's any doubt that they'll be able to blow up as much as One Direction have, as much as Bieber did, and Miley Cyrus. Now that she's gotten awesome. Love you, Miley.
I listened to bangers, I've got to say that. And I was half feeling it more than Jesus. I'm just gonna say it.
Whoa!
I shouldn't have said it, but I'll say it.
I thought Miley Cyrus is alright. I thought Wrecking Ball was a legitimately catchy pop song.
I can tell
what it is. Her acoustic shit's good too. She's a really good singer. If you listen to her backyard sessions with her band, just her acoustic, just singing songs.
Actually, she did do a couple of acoustic covers, recent ones that I was a fan of. But hey, how do you think Billy Ray's feeling every night when he goes?
Man, he's loving it.
He's loving it, is he?
Yeah,
wow.
He goes to concerts and he's like, yeah, Billy Ray.
Like, that's my half-naked daughter. I saw those titties when they were 3 years old and I was washing her. Wait, did I just go into bad territory?
Well, I mean,
but
they're both
business.
They're both business people. They know what she knows exactly what she's doing.
Jackie Chan movie.
She's playing the game. I legitimately respect Miley Cyrus. I think she knows
in her live show, and I think she's in her music. I wish her nothing but
good work, Miley Cyrus. Keep
stay away from it. Don't influence the young kids, but do you just get a different audience?
On that note, Miley, thanks for tuning in. Can we wrap up?
Yep.
Thanks
to everybody.
Wrap it up.
This has been episode 18.
18. Indeed.
Signing off, Kevin, Matt, and Chris. We just want to say, I hope everybody out there. I'm trying to remember what the fuck the catchphrase is. Take it easy.
Keep it clean.
Drive safe.